from our template UI, the next we're going to design is our about page. Our about section. So we're going to dive right in without wasting time. About section. So for the layout, we have this full width, like call 12 for Bootstrap. That's 100% width for the about and the about description. Then we also have this column 6. That's 50% column for the about image and the about details. So let's begin with this. Go to our portfolio. We're going to begin with a new section called we'll start with the main, because this is where our main design begins from. And we're going to say section. This section is going to be about section. So right in our about section, we are going to have the first from here, this section. So div.class.container. I always like to have sections so that whenever I need to put a different background, the section is like the whole, where I need to put a whole background, I can easily use it for my color, for full width color. Then for the container, I can do anything with it. I can reduce the container width and do any manipulation in my container. That's why I like having a section, then a container. So for the container, div class container, we're going to have div class role. Remember this 3-step role. Div class role. After the role, then you have your div dot column. So this will be called as MD12, because the full width. So whether it's in small device, whether it's in large device, it should just be a full width of 12. So we don't need to put LG again. By default is LG. We don't need to put SM as well, except later we find that we need to. So we have the H2. We can use H2 for that and call the about. Then we have a paragraph. So remember, we have this for our section. So we can take the description text and add it. Okay, so here we go. About this. So now we need to put some padding and center this. Okay, so we need the background color. The background here is kind of gray, a very light shade of gray, compared to the pure white for the hero section. So let's do that. We're going to now take our section, about section. That is where we're going to put. So let's document this. All this area was the header section style. Starts there, ends here. We have the about section style. Okay, let's move this down because we want the mobile view style to be for the about, to let them be together. Okay, so we'll come down here to begin. This is a new section now, about section. We'll call this background gray. It's a very light shade. Let's see what this looks like. It's kind of dark. Okay, I think this is fine. Let's go one more. Alright, nice. So you can see when I say we need the padding top, you can see why. So we have to pad this down and center it. We can put the padding bottom and top on the about section. So we'll just say padding top 30 px, bottom 30 px. So let's do it. Okay, let's see. Hmm, that looks fine. Not much space now. All right, top and sorry, this should just be. uh, okay, I want this on the top and on the bottom, 0 pairs. I don't want any padding on the left and right, just the top and bottom. Okay, so this represents the top and the bottom. This represents the left and the right. So no padding for the left and right, no padding. All right, so down to our container. We can see it's well aligned with this section because this also is in a container. So let's center it. Now a simple text align will do. So in our row, we can do it in the row, we can do it in the container. Let's just say text align, align center. Okay. Sorry, text center. Miss this up sometimes. Good. Next, we want to okay. Let's try and add this border. It has a color brown, and I'll just orange. So meaning we need a class here. Okay, let's just call this about class. About title. About this for description. So give them separate class. They also have separate colors. Okay, the brown is kind of thicker than the so for us to have this we need to have a div right under this. So we can use border. So we can say div, have an empty div, give it the class of about, let's just call it title border in case we need it somewhere else again. This will just be the only time we will style this. So we'll just have to copy it and paste it wherever we have something like this again. So title border, remember this is an empty div. Let me space it out so you can see. We're using this empty div to create that border line. So you can say border, that is border button style solid, border button width 2 px, border button color. Okay. Yeah, so we have this. Now we are going to reduce the width. So now we're not saying border button width, we're just saying what width, normal width. So let's say 30 px. That's too small. This is it here. I also have to center it. Let's see if text align does it. Nope. So we're going to use our let's try the margin 0 auto. Does that work? Yes. So here we're going to increase this to 60 px. This is way more, but let's just leave this like this. I think this looks better. So now we're going to have some, move this down a bit, matching, let's say up and down should be 20 px. Yes, you can do that. You can add some to the top and the bottom to give some space while still using the auto to control the left and the right. So that's what will center it. Controlling the left and right is what centers it. So now we can see that the description is kind of short, it's not very long. So we need to reduce the width of this container here. So now you know why I have a section and a container. So I'll use my container to control the width of this two. So does our container have a class? Let's say, so we're going to call this about container. Let's put it up here. About container width. I want to call this 60 px. Sorry, 60%. Let's see what that looks like first. Let's see if this is working actually. 20%. No, it's not working. So let's see what is wrong here. So this is a very good time to inspect. And sometimes when what is it called, doesn't work, you can use, let's see, I'm talking about the whole of the container, about container, and I have asked it to be width 60%. It's working here. So what did we do wrong? Let's see. Oh, sorry. Right, about container width. Let's use px then. 700 px. You see, from inspect elements, about container actually works. It shows our about container here is empty. Okay, it's cancelled out. Let's do important. Probably there's a style that is blocking it from responding. So let's add and be careful while using this important. If it's not necessary, don't use it at all. Okay, so that works now by adding the importance to it. Alright, so we're good with this. Next, we're going to this description section. So right inside our about section, we're going to create another div about description, about title. So right here we're going to say div class of about. So let's begin with our container dot about description. So div class container, div class row. Our flex is always on the row in case you need to do anything with that. Okay, then div class column. So here we have call, let's see, this is LG6. When it's on tablet view, how does it look? It's full width to MD12, LG6 MD12. When it's on mobile view, that's a smaller device, it's also full width 12. So this will guide us now. So we're going to say call LG, larger devices, takes 6, right? Let me do this right where you can see it. Then call-ND takes a full width 12. Then the smaller devices called SM, it also takes full width 12. So we're going to duplicate this, one for the image and one for the description. So we're going to call this about image, about img. This is our custom class now, and about details, because you cannot use description again, right? So about details. Now first of all, here we want to have the image. I already have the image here. Okay, profile square. So let's do this. Source is images / profile square.webp. Okay, so now we have the image. Next we're going to have the image class. Okay, let's just, since we gave this a class, the div, let's use it to select the image. So all right, so close. We'll have our style back. Let's fix this first and see what happens. Okay, we did not add the image img. So dot about image because the class is not directly on the image. So dot about image. So width 600. This should have moved a bit. So let's bring it down more. Let's say 450 px. And this is what it looks like. So we're going to adjust the padding top and the rest later on, but for now let's deal with this. So we'll have this small heading here that says about me, and let's see if we have anything for us here. Okay, for us we're going to have a front-end developer and instructor rather. So we have a h4 is a cool. Okay, we could just even use, let's make a bold paragraph. So let's just make it P, and we'll give it a font width later on. Then here we have the H2. I think this goes here. This will be about me. So let's have this description. Do we have description here? Yes, we do. So let's take this first description. We have another paragraph here for our description. We have this short text and this detail. So I'm copying my text from here, which is our already made these details we got from AI, from ChatGPT. So I'll paste my second paragraph. Then after which I have All right, so to do this we need this is like a card, so we can design this by ourselves rather than using the Bootstrap card. So we're just going to have another div, row and column, that will give us two columns, white background, and then our text goes in. So we have a div here, dot container. So you can have this anywhere. You can see this one now is inside that LG6, right? You can still have another container and row, and right inside here. So div dot row, then div dot what column. This should be used to you by now. Container row column. Whenever you need to create something that has 2 columns or 3 columns or 4 columns, this is what you do. You go straight back to having a container row and a column. So this now will give us a LG6. So let's see the mobile view, what it looks like, if it's still 6 or if it's changed. So for tablet view, it still remains 6, and for smaller devices, of course, it still remains 6. All right, let's continue. So we're going to have empty call dash empty, which is tablet view dash 6, because it's still 2 columns, right? I'm going to have call.sf for smaller devices dash what 6. So that's it. So we duplicate this, one for one side and the other for the other side. So for the first side, we have name, age, and occupation. So we'll go ahead to say this is text gray and text black, so we'll be using the Bootstrap, but the text is actually small, so maybe we can say paragraph. Inside our paragraph we can have, I think we have what is called a class of text small. Then we'll have the color text secondary, that should be text secondary. So let's see, name. Great. Okay, so from our content, this goes for name, we have another normal paragraph here. Sorry, each of these should come in its own div. So let's move these guys in here, cut and paste. That's because on each of these we have, this is one div, this is 2 div, this is 3 div, all in a block column, in one column. So 1 div, 2 divs, and 3. So put the second here and the third here. So we could just duplicate this in the end. So I just want to show you what's happening there. Okay, so for here we have this. Let's see what it looks like. This is what it looks like, but these two texts are almost similar. So let's go to text. Let's go and check for text sizes in okay, while this is opening, let's do the others. The next one is what, age, occupation. So we're going to duplicate this. Here we have age, here we have occupation. So what do we have for age? Do we have age in our lesson? Okay, ours is phone and email. So let's do that. Let's put phone here, name, phone, email, So we're done with this. Let's just copy the 3 div we have here and paste here in the second column. So all we have to do is edit the details. But first, let's see well aligned. So we're going to change the details for this column. So from our content, we have next nationality, websites, and freelance. Nationality, websites, freelance. Here it says available. Here HTTPS. Okay. So we have this. To bring them closer, so what we need next is this background, which makes it a card. Then we can bold our text. So how can we do that? Let's just give the main div a class. What can we call this now? About details. So they all have, they're all paragraphs. So what do we do? Should we change this to span? So let's make all the titles to be span. So we can easily say about detail to P, right? Or we can use Bootstrap class. Let's leave this like this. Let's do it as P. Let's use the Bootstrap class. So let's check. So for the text, when you scroll down, you're going to see the font size. So we have different font size type. So we can actually use this FS-6 to make that title paragraph smaller. Let's take a look. You can see they are the same text, and from the name is smaller, this is bigger and bold, right? So let's see. I think that's FS6 is so just add the class, not text small. It's FS6. So everywhere we have text small, we're going to change it to FS6. FS6. Okay, then for the other part, same thing. I'm just holding down Alt. Alright, so we've gotten this one and the color. So we need to bold this paragraph. I think the class to bold the text, okay, it's just right underneath bold text. Let's see. I think the class is just font weight. That's FW is for font weight. You can see it's FW font weight. So FW bold will give you a bold text. So let's copy this font weight bold. Let's add it to so we're adding it to the font weight bold. That's to the second paragraph, right? Font weight bold. Let's see. Good. So let's do it for this or that one. We're adding it to the Nigeria, this and this. So font weight bold. So another way we can do this is by selecting. It's because they are all paragraphs, so it's difficult to select except we give all of them their own class. So instead of giving them a single class and take it to CSS and start styling, that's why I have just put the Bootstrap class. Else we'll go and do font weight and start choosing it between 100, 600, 800 to make it bold. So with just this single class, I made it bold. So what's remaining now is the background, right? So we're looking for the parent that is holding all of them, which is this container. So we have not used this class at all. We've not used it, so let's bring it here. I don't think we're going to use it here. We're not needing it here, so let's use it here. So background white, right? So we need some padding and border radius. How much space? Okay, let's look at it. So padding 20 px, border radius. You can use border radius without first adding border. Let's also say 15 px maybe. So this is it. So I think the left and the right will need more padding. So let's say 30 px. The left and the right seem not to be responding. Let's find out why. You can see on our tablet view right now, you can see it's already obeying the law. This is taking a full weight, this is taking a full weight. All we just need to do is center it, I guess. They're all centered, right? Yes. All we just need to do is center. But this one is not even centered. It's not centered. It's only the image that is centered. So we'll just increase the size of the image and center it. And also add border radius to it. So let's see why our padding left is not working. So we're doing it here. So we have you see it works here. So what is the problem? Do we need to add? Okay, so our padding has been cancelled out here. So meaning we need to add importance, meaning there is another class oppressing this, so making it not to respond. So let's do this. Let's add the importance to it. So you see now it works. So we need on the overall about us page, you can see we need some padding there. So let's see. We'll give it some padding top. Okay. So this text is orange. Then we have some this is bold, this is bold. Okay, so this is bold already. Let's just let it be. So we'll just change the color of this one. And so next is the name and signature text. So this is actually an image. So if you have your signature as an image, you put it. This is still div class column container row, two columns. You put your signature on one and you put your name on the other. So we're only going to do the name now because we don't have a name signature, so we just have only one text. So before we do that, there's something we noticed here. What was that? Okay, yes, about me. So you know how to so you can just give this your own class and put the color that you want, right? This is a Bootstrap class. Text warning is a Bootstrap class. I'm just using it because it looks alike. So you can put your custom class here, take it to your CSS and give it that color that you want it to have. right? So then for here we're going to have the padding top. So let's bring it before 2. Let's bring one before 2. So padding top. Okay, let's do the FX thing. Font with FW bold. Okay, yeah, good. So lastly, the signature. So where does this end? Where does the detail end? Detail 2 is just right on that detail 2. So detail 2 ends here. So come here and say div dot signature. So the first thing we have is, I think it's the name. Alright, so for our name, we're going to have paragraph. So we're going to give this a class of, if there is font size 4 and font weight FW bold. Okay, then we have our second paragraph for our job title. What is that? I'm just going to copy this to use again for the title. So I'm going to give this a class of font size 6, which is a smaller size. There is no width, and text secondary. So the color will be gray. So you can see the difference when we have to use font and the difference when we have to use text, even though they are all text. So for color, is text secondary, not font secondary. Okay, so let's do this. Here we have this. So what's the difference? We need to add it in and reduce the space between. Signature P, they are both P, so it will select both for us. We just saw margin close. Okay. There's a padding top here. Padding left, padding. Oh no, not here. Good. So how do we put that space between this and this? So let's give this div. Let's give only this PFA padding top. So let's do it directly in here. PT for good. So we're almost done. One last thing. This, we have to move this image to the middle. Let's just see the main view first. Okay. All right, so we need to move this the image down as well. So we have called that about image. So padding top should be the same with what we gave here, 30px, so they can align, right? I think you still need to go down more, even way more. So 50px. So notice when we're using px and when we're using percentage. So 50px. So I think we have more text here. Then we also have the border radius for our image, 15px. All right, so for our tablet view, this is laptop view, tablet view. We'll notice that our image is not centered. You can see it's actually on the side, it's not centered. So we want to center the image now for our tablet view. Let's reduce the size so we can see it clearly. Okay, about image, you see about image. So for about image, we're going to give it a width of like, let's say 80%. Sorry, width 80% of its container, and margin 0 auto. Okay, so it moved. So I think this is centered now. So we'll take this first for about dash image. That is actually for the media query, our tablet view, which is at media max width 768px. Right inside here, we're going to have about image and give it that the style we just worked with now. Then for the image itself, about image, we gave it a class of width of 500 and text align was center. So without even styling the image itself, let's see, really center. So if we click on the container, we can see all right, let's add that about image. So we raise the width to 500 px and the text align center important. So inspect tablets. Okay, so let's put that important on our width here. About image 80% important, margin 0 auto. Okay, it moved, so you can see that it is well centered now. It is well centered. Let's see what's the size of this image. 500, and this one same 500. All right, so let's see. For the smaller device, this size is too large. The image is too large, so we're going to reduce the size of the image for the smaller device. Also this text, we're going to find out, okay, I think we gave this container a width somewhere. We're going to take that width out. So let's start with the image first. So for our small device, media max width 600 dot about image should be like 250px width. Okay, all right, so now we have this to deal with. Even for this about container, so yes, our about container, we give it a width of 700. We're going to remove that width, so we're going to say width I'm going to make it 100%, which is normal width. 100% is normal width. So let's take this to our 600. Let's put it up here because that came first. Yes, we know why. It's joint was stubborn because good. That 700 is overriding it, is suppressing it. So when we use the important, it comes back to normal. So this is what we have for a smaller device. Okay. And for our tablet view, we have this. Okay, so this look good, right? Then for our larger screen, we have this. Let's also go through our code again. So beginning from here, so you can review your code, the header, section style. Then we go. Then we have the mobile view, right? Then we have the about section style. Then we have the about image, about details. Then we have our about section mobile view for about section. Did I? Okay. What did I call this now? Header. So let's say header section mobile view. Okay. Then we'll go down to say about section mobile view, right? So that's it.